Greetings, this is Sean, and today I'm going to be working on the walls for my Dollhouse Escape / puzzle room. And in a previous video that I created, I said this. Now I've purposely made the walls thick, about a ½ inch thick, to allow wires to go in between the floors and in between the walls and whatnot. Because every wall has got an opening to allow wiring to go through, which when I start building this, I'll show you that in a little bit more detail. So let me go into a little bit more detail. I've lost a lot of footage for the building of these walls, and the wall that I'm building right now, that you're seeing me build right now, is the ones that have the doors inside of them, the ones that are on the inside of the structure. I have at this point already built the walls, as you can kind of see them in the background behind me on the table. The walls that don't have any doors, that are going to be the interior wall that's on the outside of each of the rooms. And what I've done with this wall here that I'm making right now is I'm going in 2 inches from the edge, making a mark, and then I went 3 more inches beyond that to make a 3-inch wide door, and now I've got my square there set up for 7 inches to go to make it a 7-inch tall door that I'm going to cut out. But I noticed that you see how there's a big gap in between the ruler there, or the square, and the foam. I decided to stack the boards up a little bit to make it a little bit more accurate of a measurement. And I was actually off by about 1/8 of an inch or so, just that little bit of movement that was there. So now all I'm doing is I'm making a line for the outline of the door, and then I will cut that piece out, as you'll see here in a minute, and then I'll use this one here as a template to cut the other pieces, which I'm using 2 pieces of foam board per wall, and I'll explain more when I get to that part of it. And here I am, I'm just using a new sharp razor blade knife to cut those doors out. Making a couple passes just so I don't go crooked, which unlike I did with the doors themselves, which you'll see later, some of the walls ended up being a little bit crooked, but as I'll explain later, I'm going to end up using some crown molding and some baseboards to cover that up. Like I said, now I'm not going to show you all of this, but here I'm just lining it up and just going to trace on the inside of that door to cut that other door out. So here I've already cut out all 4 pieces, 2 for each of the walls that are there. And now what I'm going to do is I have these little strips that I've cut off from from scrap, and I'm going to put one on each of the ends. And right here you'll see me, I only put 3 down, but then after I got to looking at it, I felt like I needed to have a 4th one, which I don't show me gluing here. I end up actually taking this apart and re-gluing it, which I don't show, like I said. And you'll see when after it comes back, when I show the completed walls, what I've done here. So basically all I've done is I've taken these strips and I'm going to glue it to here, and then I'll glue another piece on top of it, the other half of the wall. And that's creating a 3/16 inch gap in between that I'll be able to run wires and other stuff in through the walls to get to the computer and stuff that'll be in the base section, like I explained in earlier. I'm just going to speed through this. Okay, I'm going to show you the different walls that I've made. This is the one you saw me making in the just the previous video there with the door. And you can see there that there's a gap in between. And what I did was I just basically took off those cut out pieces of foam. And I was going to make these sliding doors, but there's not enough room in there to get any kind of a motor or servo in there. So what it's going to do is, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take the two halves of the door that came off of those cutouts, and I will put a rod or a piece of wood or something up into here like this, and then sandwich the two together, and that will fit in this gap. And then I'll have the rod go all the way down to the base where there's a motor there. Excuse me. I'll have to trim these up a little bit, and then this will just swing open this way with that rod turning on a little motor that's down underneath. So that's how I'm going to do the doors instead of a sliding door. It'll be a lot easier to do. So anyway, that's how I'm going to do the door walls. And then this is just one of the regular walls with no door in it. That's along the side of the wall, side of the room, each of the rooms, and it's got the same kind of gap in there. And that distance there is 3/16 of an inch. As you can see, I'm using 3/16 inch foam board, and these are cutoffs that I've made into little strips for support. And these will be sitting up against a wooden outside wall, so it's not like these have to be structurally sound or anything like that to support any kind of weight. And so anyway, that's how I did the walls, like I say. So instead of being a 1/2 inch thick, like I said in the little animation part, it's going to be 9/16 of an inch, so just a little bit bigger than a 1/2 inch in thickness. So, and this is 12 inches here, and this is 9 inches this way for each of the rooms walls. So anyway, and then of course there is a little bit of unevenness. You can kind of see like here that I kind of cut it a little bit crooked and whatnot, but I'm not worried because there's going to be crown molding and floorboards and stuff like that, baseboards that are going to cover all of those gaps. So I'm not overly concerned about it not being a perfect cut. So see this one, you can really see how it's off. But anyway, that's how I did the walls, and the floors are next. I've got to figure out how I'm going to do the ladder to be able to cut out the ladder for it. But these will be the floors. This will be the floor that goes in between the top and bottom section. So anyway, have a better day, as I always say.